welcome everybody. Long time no see. Glad to be back. We're gonna start doing them regularly again. Probably won't do them every day like I was before, but we'll definitely do one or two a week. So today is a very special day because we came out with some crazy stuff. Has anyone got a chance to play around with 8 legs yet today? Or yesterday, or the day before, whenever we launched it. And for those of you new here, you can just type. There's a little chat box. If you look at the humans channel to the right, there's like a little chat thing. If you don't want to talk, you can just put it in there and type away. So, has anyone played around with 8 legs yet? Oh, yeah. I have not done any personal like trading from it, but I've definitely been playing around with it because it's crazy. It's insane. And today, what we're going to look at is just some insane stuff you can do with it. And so, what I'll do, let's begin by I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see that there? So what we've got here is a couple bad trades. One good trade, one bad trade. And what I want to do today is I just want to look at some things to do to maybe think around it. Because when you're thinking about 8 legs, what are we thinking about? I mean, most brokerages do 4 at a time, right? That's why we started with Option Omega doing 4 legs at a time. We wanted to mirror that. But people requested it, and we listened to the people. We give the people what they want, and so we give them 8 legs. Matt brings up a good point in the chat. Options involve risks, and they are not suitable for all investors. Option Omega is backward-looking, not forward-looking. Everything talked about today is for entertainment purposes only. As always, if you have questions, please consult with your financial advisor. So, with that being said, let's go back. 8 legs. It's crazy. So what we're going to do is I need you guys' help. I have a trade that's pretty good this year. Pretty good. It's an old classic of mine. Works in a lot of different market environments. Okay? But I want to see if we can make it better. I want to see if we can like hedge. And that's kind of the purpose of doing 8 legs, right? Is you want to see like a couple different things you could do. Maybe you could do a strategy with a hedge, all roll into one. So let's look at that. I've entitled this a bad trade. Now, why is this a bad trade off the top of your mind? If you look at this here for a second, why would old Troy call this a bad trade? Looks like a winner to me. Megadidi. Yes, Megadidi. And the reason it's a Megadidi is we're starting with a small amount of capital, and we built up. Right? But are you going to sit around and real for 168% max drawdown? I don't think we are, right? So this is an unrealistic trade. We probably wouldn't trade it, at least in this way, the way the test is set up. So I need you help. I need your help today. Using the power of the new 8-leg feature, I want to see if we can make this test more successful. And I want to lay out what it means, in my mind at least, to make this test more successful. Either increase profit, or just as well in my mind, for the sake of testing this, is reducing the drawdown. Those are the two things. If we do both, we really win. If we do one, we've won just as fine. So, with that being said, take a look at this, and I want you to think through, type it in the old suggestion box, how could we hedge this? Now, first off, what is this? you guys are new to option omega, the option legs, you kind of, once you learn to read those, you can kind of start figuring out the strategy. So it's in the top there, 2 boxes over from SPX. What is this strategy? What are we doing here? I hear breathing. Yes, it's a butterfly, and it could be broken. I mean, oftentimes it probably will be broken, but it's not necessarily trying to be broken. And what I mean by that is that we're basing it on deltas, right? So this trade is you're selling the 50 delta call and 2 of them, and you're buying a 63 delta and you're buying a 35 delta. That should get you pretty close to delta neutral. Should get you pretty close to delta neutral. And it's 15 days out. And the only caveat that we have is I've got a couple things in here. I've got miscellaneous. I've got some opening closing fees to try to make it more realistic. I max it out at 100 contracts per trade because it's crazy otherwise. And so I personally have never seen retail traders selling 100 contracts of anything, so I like to do that just to make it more realistic. But we are allocating 100% of our portfolio, which never do that in real life. This is just for purposes. We're also using only 15 days, so if there's not a 15-day trade, we don't do it. And this is first thing in the morning. So that's the trade, right? Works pretty well. We take 10% off, or we let it expire. Whatever. That's the only way. It's ride or die. Ride or die. So, what should we do to fix this? And again, fix this means make it even better from a P&L perspective, or reduce the drawdown using the new 8-leg features. Combine our brains with the power of options. And there are no wrong answers because, as far as I know, there's no right answers. But we'll see. We'll see if there's a right answer. So I assume all of them are wrong answers. Therefore, there are no wrong answers. There's just answers. Anybody want to take a stab? Okay. To myself I go. Let's try it. Let's see what we can do. So I want to look, because we're just curve fitting. Again, this is not necessarily the best way to do it, but we're looking through, it wins most of the time. So where is the loss at? Let's see here. The sun's in my face, so if I'm just scrolling over it, there it is. The loss comes in September, and it is a big loss. It's a massive loss. We put it on when SPX was 40.93. We took it off when it was 36.48. Now, there's a million ways you could maybe adjust this, right? But again, today we're just looking at the power / madness of 8-legged trades. So the easy thing to do, right, would be start with the downside. Add something to the downside. Any takers? Any takers on what we should do to the downside? Otherwise, we'll just start with the put and see what happens. Put sounds good. All right. So let's add a put. We're going to add a put. Let's do this. Let's add a put and double it. Let's calendarize this a little bit. This madness. Now, Is this going to work? We'll see. Let's run it. That does not work. Now, why does that not work? A couple of reasons. A, we didn't have enough capital to run this a lot, like every day. And so you have to wait. The other reason is there are times where it goes up, right? And so you have a couple of different problems going on. So let's do this. Maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe we should half it, right? See what happens from there. Oh, I see you trying to cheat, Alex. Nice. It's a little better, but nothing compared to what we have. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let us sell. Sorry, my computer's acting up a little bit. I'm going to sell the 5 delta, and I'm going to add a put calendar for 15 days. Does that make sense? So now we've calendarized it fully. We have a put calendar. What this is right now, a put calendar and an at the money all call butterfly. Okay. Let's see how that works. It's a little better. Right? But you're still losing. So that's not going to work. Matt says, let's do a 15-day put debit spread instead. I like it. So we'll come back to that calendar in a minute because that seemed to do something good. But for right now, let's buy the put. Matt, what do you think? What do you think a debit spread would be if we're having an at the money calendar? Or I'll call butterfly. What should the delta be as a way of looking at this as a means of hedging? 5 delta, 10 wide, like it. So okay. See what we get here. You still win a lot. I mean, you have a higher win rate, but what's going to get us? Let's look what gets us here. The time it gets us when it's a higher, because we have this added thing now, what would probably have been a win results us in a loss because we have this. This is a heavily negative delta trade at this point. So let's keep that for a second. How do we solve a heavily negative delta trade? We want it to be neutral. Yeah, do the debit spread on the other side, make it neutral again. I like it. With the power of 8, we can. So 15-day. Oh, I didn't do that right. Hold on. Shoot. That wouldn't have made sense. Sorry. That would have messed up anyway. Now we've verticalized it. Okay. Heyo, heyo. Now this is interesting. This is interesting. We have a pretty big winner, right? This is pretty big, good. But have we improved it? Have we improved it from the original? That drawdown is indeed still yikes. I just came back from vacation where we went to Costa Maya and Cozumel, and as they say there, this is a no bueno trade. That is the extent of my Spanish, and I apologize for all Spanish-speaking people. I don't know more. So we haven't necessarily improved it. We have kind of solved it. Now think about that. This is just from a teaching standpoint. Like what did we do? We have this winning trade that gets blown out once or twice this year, and like has a massive drawdown as a result of it. And we're trying to solve it, trying to like figure it out, like a math problem. We're saying, well, with the debit spreads, we're going to add some gamma each side, so we reduce the gamma as the butterfly goes against us. So we have this negative gamma going against us. We've added a little bit of long gamma, and that kind of neutralizes things. It's basically like the same trade at that point, right? But just with a little bit less drawdown, a little bit less winning. So if we're going to think about it, and this is the thing of A, that get your mind wandering. It's like seeing this all at one time, saying, well, let's try some more things. So real quick, my initial thought would be, just to test it, let's get rid of the spreads. Let's increase the gamma. We'll increase the gamma by removing the spread part. So now this is a butterfly with a 5 delta kicker on each side. Let's see what happens. So now we win 95% of the time. But what does that show us? It shows us that that long delta is still not helping us. It's still not giving us what we want. And so we keep going. We'll try one or two more things on this. This is my thought. Again, I consider success for the sake of this experiment to either being increasing the P&L, which I think was like 300 and something thousand, or reducing the max drawdown, just as a science project, right? And the max drawdown was like 168%. Massive. Okay. So let's try this. Let's do something that in the Option Omega community we're very fond of, which is calendars. Let's go back to that calendar for a second. But this time, I want to do 15 and sorry, my computer's laggy. 15 and 21. Okay. And in a similar vein, what I want to do that's the downside protection, right? So we've got this all call butterfly at the money, and we have this put calendar that's way far out. Okay. Let's do something different now to the upside. Let's add another butterfly, right? Butterflies work pretty good to the upside. Let's buy a butterfly. So we're going to pay a little bit more for this. We're going to buy a 10-day or sorry, not 10, a 10 delta 15-day call. And we are going to sell two of the, let's see here. We're going to sell two, let's see here. This is a 10 delta, let's go 50. 50 points. And then we're going to buy the call that is 100 points. So that's a 50, for what that is, that's a 10 delta out of the money, 50 wide butterfly. Does that look good before we run this? Let's try it. Okay. Now this is interesting. Does this meet my criteria for success? So it definitely matches my criteria of success. It massively reduces the payout. Massively reduces, right? Terrible payout. But you're still doing really, really well in the market with that trade. You are still, you know, in this environment, you know, especially, it's pretty good. And because you only traded it 10 times because the cost of it, you have a 100% win rate. Now, let's up this a little bit. Actually, before I do that, let me save this as a new trade. Butterfly with PC and butterfly kicker. Here it comes. I'm going to send it to you guys.